So the Russians are already moving into Alaska, it looks like, a little bit.
Yes, though it's not really anything consequential
Yeah.
at this point.
We bought that after the Cold War, right? We bought Alaska after the Cold War or before it?
Long before it.
But imagine if we hadn't, right? Cold
Yeah.
War would have been a little more scary with
Yeah.
missiles on the continent, right? Not quite as scary as Cuban missiles, but yeah. Technically, Cuba's way closer to the mainland than ours.
Everybody has missiles pointing at everybody.
But it's the fear that we'll all be mutually assured destruction is actually the title for it. It's the fear that we'll all kill each other that keeps us from ever firing, which is kind of interesting. Even though we have this capability to destroy the world like several times over, we don't use them.
All right, most people done. Anyone need more time? All right, most people seem to be done. We'll go ahead and move on. So, first, what kind of answers did you guys have to this question?
So we inspired other countries like France to break free of bad governments and people in those countries that were like being persecuted for being like of a different religion or something. They looked at America as like a safe haven, and we also had beef with the British people.
All very good points. We would inspire a lot of democratic revolutions in the future. French Revolution being the key one right there. All right, anybody else have some interesting answers?
They just be one of the superpowers of like the world, so it's really like stable and stuff. Because England's kind of in a bad situation because of all their debt and stuff.
Absolutely. After the French and Indian War, the English were dominant over the Americas, and with the revolution, the entire political makeup of the European imperial system has changed. America is no longer a good place for empire, so they will start to look elsewhere. All right, anyone else? All right, well, let's take a look at this map. What kind of things can you guys tell me about the before and after here, in terms of how things broke down? Spanish got back land, absolutely. They clearly lost some before in the previous war, and now they got it back. Which, how do you think that makes Spanish feel?
Like they could take the rest.
Well, admittedly, the Spanish, and I'll actually move to this other map to give you guys a better view, but Spanish have a lot of empire they already control. So trying to move into the Americas even more is maybe a little more than they can actually take care of, because there's a lot of space and a lot of people to look after. But they do definitely want to keep this chunk of their empire very secure, so I think America could possibly help with that.
Put it away.
Maybe.
It's a buffer state. They become a buffer state now.
Important, yes, that's definitely, go back to this other map, America's in an ideal place for that sort of thing. All right, so what about, what else can you refer to this map? Like, what about the French? Because we pointed out this little thing right here.
The French.
Well, they technically won the war. They were allied with us, so they won the war.
So they get, we'll trade with them and stuff. They'll be one of our main importers and exporters of goods. Bring
True.
money.
So how do you think the French are going to feel now that they've successfully beaten their old enemy in this world war?
Probably.
Big.
They feel big, yes. They feel very big. What do you think they're going to do with that feeling of bigness then? You think
They're
they
gonna try to take more land. They were trying to acquire.
try to take more land, try to acquire things? Yes. And while it's not here in this map, and you guys will see it later on, they will get back to Louisiana Purchase at some point. This whole area right here, which was once theirs. So yeah, they're going to start feeling big. They're going to want more. All right. What about anything for the British? Can you think of anything for the British?
They lost land. They lost a lot of land.
How do you think they're going to feel about that?
Angry. but they're broke, so they can't really be free.
Think think they hate the Americans?
Yes.
They're not gonna wanna do any business with them anymore?
Yeah,
No.
No?
they're not gonna do business with them.
Maybe give them a cold shoulder.
Here's the strange thing. Actually,
Good reviews.
business increases after the end of the war. Now, why do you think the British would actually want to do more business?
Oh, they're trying to pay off their debt.
Oh, because they're influencing other countries and they're like, oh, well, we're allies.
Good point. What we talked about before, about the French feeling big, wanting more territory, you think the British might be a little concerned about that?
Yeah.
How do you think they're gonna try to respond to this French
Oh,
aggression?
try to get America's help in case the French try to start handling.
Good point, good point. So they're gonna wanna try to make America happy.
Why didn't France or Spain just like smash England right after the war? Like I feel like were they really weak after the war?
Well, they tried, but we'll go to this map here. It's kind of hard to say, but this part already right here, this is British territory. They've already started their conquest of India at this point, and they're already looking toward Australia as a potential increase. I mean, what do you think? What kind of resource would you need to go to such faraway places? Right, boats, a navy. Do you think the British Navy was really that smashed after the Revolution?
There wasn't really too much naval stuff.
So they probably still have a powerful navy, which gives them a say, right?
Well, I was just talking just like the actual country Spain, like going after England.
That's the point. England's an island, right?
Island.
And to invade an island, you need
Maybe.
boats. Lots of boats. Lots of powerful boats.
So we're really big British.
So you're not exactly going to be able to take your massive French army and just shuttle it across the water, not when there's a large English navy in the way. All right, so we'll go ahead then. We've got a lot of good response here to these questions. All right. What we're going to do today is you guys are going to make a political cartoon. Or if you don't want it, if you're not good at the whole drawing thing, you can write a opinion piece in an article or newspaper. These questions are going to be your guides. Things like what we talk about now, what you can infer from this map. Why would France and Spain help the colonists? What are the expectations of these various nations in this post-war world? So basically, you can take this political cartoon or this political piece you're writing, you'll do it as a group. Now, each one of you can make your own, like one person make a cartoon, another person write something down, what you want to do. You can make a cartoon together as a group. It's up to you guys. But you can answer some of these questions, one or two of these questions, or if you guys already have an idea about what you want to do, you don't necessarily have to answer any of these questions directly. This is meant to guide you to get the idea. Imagine yourself as an American, or a loyalist, or French, or Spanish, or even British after the end of the war. And think about what kind of opinions you'd have toward your governments, or toward other governments. You know, how do you feel? What do you want to do now? What do you think should happen now? Everything has been radically changed. So keep that idea in mind. And you guys go ahead and start. We got art supplies, each of the tables. I have hand out some paper for you guys to work with. So go ahead. You can honestly make whatever you want. Think symbolism. You know, don't just draw nations and straight up flags. Try to have people or weird situations or use objects a different way, things of that nature.
Why didn't we take Canada to war?
We tried. We did launch invasions of Canada during the American Revolution. They all failed miserably. So we just didn't waste any more people on the effort. It wasn't going to work, so we just didn't bother anymore. All right, so go ahead and start, guys.
Came out on their knees, drinking their syrup. Okay.
If you have any questions on what to do, how to get started, you can definitely ask myself or Mr. Houston.
Yeah, if you guys want to pair up or with another group, you don't
Yeah,
have to do it on your own.
absolutely.
Can I use animals to represent?
Absolutely.
That'd be cool.
That'll be so.
That'd be cool. Oh yeah, and don't forget to, the nicest cartoons will make their way onto the wall for all to see, and so do a good job. And an article, I'll put an article on the wall too, if you decide not to draw.
Start the